Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Megz Moviez. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Sorry, a bit out of breath. Just been walking the dog and then running up the stairs, so probably not the two smartest ideas. But anyway, yes, we have finally made it to episode 2 of Megz Moviez Weekly Roundup. I told you I was going to try and make this more consistent, and that's what I'm going to do. So if you are new to this channel and this series, basically Megz Moviez Weekly Roundup is just that. It's basically, I talk about if I've picked anything up this week, I talk about if I've watched anything TV show or movie wise, and just sort of like give you my quick thoughts on each of them. And it looks like we're about to have a Riley join us, so this is going to be fun. So starting with the pickups, so one of the things I picked up was this limited edition Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Blu-ray, which I thought was pretty cool. So this comes with a little art book and a little message from Tim Burton, which I didn't realise. But yeah, so it comes with this just like little book, and it's just sort of like got pictures from the film and the characters, stuff like that. So, and you'll see why I picked this up during the video. So that's one of my pickups. Found it on eBay. It was quite surprised I found it on eBay, to be honest. If I can get this to go back in properly. By the looks of it, no. It's the only issue when you get special edition stuff is that it gets harder to put stuff back. Okay, and then the next one I picked up was Interview with a Vampire. When I shared with you guys my Tom Cruise collection video last week, quite a few of you mentioned some films I should pick up, and I figured why not this one, because I love vampires. I'm starting to get into Tom Cruise. I also like Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, so I reckon this will be a quite fun one to watch. So I look forward to watching this in the future. And then of course there's no way I was not going to pick this up, and that is the Grease 2 Steelbook. I didn't get a chance to do an unboxing for this because I was just way too eager, so I'll just quickly show you now. So then inside, I like the picture that they've done, but I think I would have liked a collage maybe, background of pictures. But I have ordered off eBay, I don't know when it's going to come though because it's coming from America, the first Grease Steelbook that looks exactly like this, so then I can have a matching pair. And then there's the back of the J card, which I absolutely love. So that is all my pickups for this week. I didn't really buy much, but who knows, maybe next week there might be a bit more. So now that I spoke about the films I picked up, let's talk about the films I've watched. So I've got my little list here. If you don't know, I have a Letterboxd account, so if you'd like to see my full ratings, full reviews, stuff like that, then go and check that out. I'll put the username in the description box down below. So yes, so I'm just going to move over to the side so I can then put a picture, and then I'll give you my quick thoughts. Okay, so this is starting from last Sunday to this Saturday just gone. So on the 5th I watched 2 films. One of the films I watched was The Lost World Jurassic Park. So this is Jurassic Park 2. I actually don't mind this film. This one and the third one is always changing for me. It's either top of the list or bottom of the list, you know, it's always switching. But I actually really enjoy this one. It's still got the practical effects. It's a bit of CGI in it, but it's not too bad. I like the character of Ian Malcolm. Don't know how I feel about him being centric in the film, but I still enjoy his character. But with that one, I'm very 50-50 on it. So I gave that one a 3 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. And then on the same day, I watched WALL-E. Yes, I watched the Disney Pixar WALL-E. Obviously, I'm trying to watch all the Pixar films before I go and see Lightyear, because I'm also planning to do a ranking. And so WALL-E was one of the ones I picked to watch that day. Such a good film. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't really enjoy it all that much, but now I've given it a second watch. I enjoy it for the fact that there's hardly any words spoken. There's a beautiful animation to it. I wouldn't say it's one of my absolute favourite Pixar films, but it certainly is at the top there with the, like, maybe top 3. But that one I gave a 4.5 out of 5. And then the following day I watched Jurassic Park 3. Now this is again kind of like the second one where they've brought in a classic character from the first movie. This time they brought back in Sam Neill and the lady from the first Jurassic Park films. And I enjoyed this one. Like I said, this one and the second one I'm very 50-50 on. So I enjoyed both, but it's always very hard to choose where I would put them on a ranking list. Which, of course, when I go and see Jurassic World Dominion, there'll be a ranking list. But no, I enjoy this one. This is what I love about the Jurassic Park series, is that they still use practical effects, even when CGI has become more of a thing. But no, I quite enjoy this film. The rating I gave it was a 3 out of 5, so that's not bad. And then this was a first time watch for me, and it was part of my subscriber mail reviews, so I won't say too much on this because I have done a full review video on it, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And that is Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. I actually didn't mind this film. It's not one of those films I'd go to because it's not one of my typical genres, but I did enjoy it for a first time watch. I won't say any more than that because obviously you should go check out the review I did. So that one I gave a 3.5 out of 5. And then of course the reason why I brought Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is because I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for an original versus remake I planned to do, because I picked up the 4K of the original film earlier on, I think it was last week, something like that, or in my last month's haul, not really sure which one. But yes, so I watched that. It's one of my guilty pleasure films. It's one of those terrible films that I enjoy. I get a good laugh out of terrible films sometimes. But that one I gave a 3 out of 5. And then I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one. Because the reason why I watched that last is because I watched it on my 4K TV, so I watched it before I went to bed. I can see why it's a classic, so beautifully animated, so done. But it's just so weird at the same time. It's not one of my favourite films. It wouldn't be in like the top 100 or anything like that. But I still enjoyed it, so I gave that one a 4 out of 5. And then we go into my least favourite franchise in the Pixar films the following day. And that is Cars. So I watched the first Cars. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the film. It's got enjoyable moments. I do have a laugh with some of the characters. But for me, when I think Pixar, I don't think of Cars. I'm sort of like not drawn to that franchise as much as other people. But with that one, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Then I watched Cars 2. Not a fan of this film. Don't get me wrong, I like Mater, but I don't think he's good as a main character for a film. I think as a short, maybe. But to be a main character in a film, I don't think he has that kind of style to him. And also the plot was a bit weird. I don't know why they went from racing cars to spy cars, but there we go. So I gave this one a 1 out of 5. It's my least favourite out of the franchise. So, wasn't a massive fan of that one. And then we go to Cars 3, which is a first time watch for me. It's the first time I watched it this year. I actually enjoyed this one the most out of this franchise. Now, it's not anything like a blockbuster or anything like that. But I did enjoy the plot. I enjoyed the characters this time around. Yeah, this is my favourite one out of the 3 Cars films. Certainly wouldn't be in my like top 10 of Pixar films, but it wouldn't be so low either. So that one, I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5. And then we move on to Jurassic World. So I was planning to see Jurassic World Dominion at some point this weekend. I haven't been around to get watching it, but I will watch it this week, I promise. But I actually really quite like the Jurassic World films, especially this first one. I think it's set the stone for bringing back Jurassic Park, and I like Chris Pratt. I like the scene with the raptors where he's training them, you know. And even though it was all CGI pretty much, I couldn't really tell if there was any practical effects. I don't think it done too badly, but for me, nothing will ever beat the first one. So this one I gave a 4.5 out of 5. And then we move on to yesterday, so Saturday. So for the first time, me and my mum watched Dog. So this is one of the films that come out this year. I actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was predictable in places with any dog movie like that, I think. But no, me and my mum had a good laugh. We did like the story behind it. There were some emotional moments, stuff like that. I don't think it would make my top 10, but it certainly would make my top 20 of the year. So with that one, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. And then last night before I went to bed, I watched Onward. Yes, I need to get through the Pixar films before next Friday. But no, I actually quite enjoyed this film. It's not anything like exciting. It's not like Inside Out or Toy Story or Monsters Inc. But it's still a good story. I like the characters. I like the idea behind the film. But for me, it's just one of those ones, I don't know how often I'd go back towards it. So with that one, I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5. And then to finish it off, TV show wise, the only thing I've watched is Stranger Things season 1. I've finished that off. Now I have been told by both my sister and a couple of people that I could just watch season 4 and that'd be fine because I have seen 2 and 3. Like I said, I was planning to rewatch it all, but now everyone's raving about the first episode just on that. So I will be probably watching Stranger Things 4 and then maybe going back to 2 and 3, possibly, I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently. Okay, so that is all the movies I have watched this week. I really hope you enjoyed this Megz Movie Weekly Roundup. I'm glad I've made it to episode 2. Yes, so I did watch quite a few films this week. Quite surprised at myself. But hopefully there'll be more newer releases in next week's roundup, I hope. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your thoughts on what I picked up this week. Sort of like, did you pick any of these up? Did you watch any of the films I've watched this week? Please let me know in the comments down below because I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I'll see you guys next time.